Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Where Energy Meets the Divine. I'm Manuchehri. It is the 4th of July in the United States. It is late here in Washington State, so you might hear some popping or crackles as people try their best to light up what has been a very beautiful day here in the Northwest, a very blue sky. But hopefully you won't hear that, but you might. I have been listening to your questions, and I love them. So thank you so much for leaving them. I know sometimes you have to wait to hear your answers, but you can learn a lot from the people who I do answer questions for while you wait for yours as well. And I just thank everyone for leaving a question because I think it's kind of vulnerable, to ask a question. And there are so many people you're helping as well who have that question but may not feel comfortable asking it. And of course, we all learn from these experiences. Even myself, I'm a constant learner. And I noticed, to my delight, there are a lot of questions about chakras, which, of course, I think about them as I'm falling asleep at night, and I think about them as I'm waking up in the morning. As I think almost everyone knows on this podcast, there are 7 primary chakras. And for me, because I'm highly visual, I'm highly clairvoyant, when I dive into them, because it's like my energy just dives into the chakras, they change from an orb of light into a cone. And the tip of the cone goes very deep into the body. And then the front of the cone is either extended outside of the body or flush. 3 chakras have an extension. The root goes to about mid-thigh, which is the first chakra. The 6th, which is in the center of your forehead, in between the frame of my bright green glasses, right here in the center, extends about a foot outside of the forehead. And then the 7th vortex on top of the head can reach hundreds of thousands of miles into and beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Channelers have very large crown chakras. Once in my career, I think, so it was probably about a decade ago, because I was living in the house I'm living in right now, a channeler came to me, a professional channeler, and asked me to take down her crown chakra because she no longer wanted to channel. I thought it was an odd request. Even as she was asking me in my office, I'm talking to the universe like, is this a good idea? And the universe, of course, believes in free will. So people get to do whatever they want. And just like maybe one day someone's an artist and then they want to be a mechanic, people can change how they want to be in the world. And they did not give me a sign to not move ahead with the dismantling of the crown chakra. And hers was huge, many miles way above her head. And I felt like it was almost taking down the Eiffel Tower. Like she had such a beautiful structure and connection to the cosmos. And so sometimes I think about that experience. She's the only person who's ever asked me that. I have had people who don't want to have psychic experiences because they're frightened of them. I don't know if they've asked me to take it away, but they've asked perhaps how they could navigate through them or how not to be afraid. I would imagine that the channeler that I'm speaking about today could easily rebuild that vortex in a heartbeat, because everything is really about perception. And when you get an idea about something that you want to experience in your life and have in your life, and you can hold that vision, that feeling, the understanding of it, it can be healed or built very, very rapidly and very, very quickly. So I think that was a fascinating experience. I've had a lot of experiences, as you can only imagine, working nearly 30 years in the field of energy medicine as a healer, as a medium, which oddly go hand in hand. I say oddly because I didn't expect to be a medium, yet every day in my practice, or when I'm teaching a class, or just about in the world, there is some sort of communication with a person who lives in another dimension, was here on Earth, who's now deceased, but has current family members living on Earth. I have rules for the other side. I don't want just anyone coming into my space to hang out with me. Not because I don't think that's cool and interesting and fun, but I have a very practical perspective of the work that I do, and I want it to be meaningful and useful. So that means that someone who hasn't been on Earth for hundreds of years, there isn't a sign near me that says, "Hey, go chat with Marie. She'd love to have a talk with you." It will say, do you have a current family member that's living on Earth and could benefit from a conversation? Otherwise, move along. Move along. I'm sure during our time in the podcast, we'll talk about mediumship, something that I teach on my platform. I've taught it on the Shift Network platform as well. I truly believe that everyone is multisensory. I believe that perhaps part of my job here is to wake that up in others, to make it look real and accessible, powerful, necessary, safe, beautiful, loving, so that others will venture into their multisensory abilities personally and or professionally. Because the gift of the multisensory experience, which means to hear, see, or feel, or somehow have a knowingness of the world beyond Earth, which of course intuition is 1,000 times more accurate than the logical mind, is meant to benefit all of us personally, and for those who wish to work in it professionally as well. So the gifts that I have, that I use in my career to help others, are also meant for my personal use in my own life. That's the trickier part, is using one's intuition for one's own life. Because once you have an emotional connection to someone, a significant one, we tend to get wrapped up in more mind-made thoughts rather than true intuition, which is always calm, compassionate, and a little bit surprising. So when my children ask me intuitive questions, I may say, okay, you have to give me like 48 hours, or I have to take a couple hours if it's an important question that they need an answer for immediately. I work very hard on detaching emotionally from the person that I'm reading for, so that I can be extremely accurate. So when you read for yourself, which is really the greatest gift of creation, to help us to read for ourselves, you have to detach. That means you can't think about it. You can't feel into it. You can't have an emotional connection to it, because most of the emotions that humanity feels are not authentic. They're not real. They are mind driven. They are mind created, and the mind cannot feel. It is a logical tool, like the computer that I'm speaking into tonight. So detachment is critical. That's why letting go is very important and needs to become part of an effortless experience that we allow ourselves to have on a daily, weekly, regular basis about all kinds of things. All kinds of things. In fact, throughout your day, you have opportunities to let go, to disengage, to not become emotionally connected to actually have an authentic experience with, to be present with it, to not care what other people think, to allow your mind to be free from shaming you or blaming you or others. That's truly a great gift that we can all give ourselves, so that we can use our beautiful multisensory abilities to guide our lives in the extraordinary experiences that we all deserve, and that we are capable of having right now on Earth, all of us. The Earth's vibration is high, the highest it's ever been in any documented time. What that means is the Earth is happy, number one, despite what other people say about global warming or wars or things of that nature. The Earth is happy. I always think of the Earth as a her, but in truth, when anything is in balance, when we're talking about masculine or feminine energy, there is a union of a dance of these spectacular energies, and many, many other types of energies as well. But I think of Earth as a female. That's just my perception. And she is no more conscious than the beings who live upon her, because like attracts like. So she's as conscious as, let's say, Bali or, I don't know, Australia and Afghanistan and the Congo and Haiti. So she is learning through her own experiences, like when a river dries up or a species disappears or bombs go off in certain parts of the world. She's also learning. She's a being of light. She has maybe many souls that encompass for her to create a planet that has been sustained for a long time, called Earth. And she's learning just like you and I are. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the voicemails. If you want to leave a question, which I greatly appreciate, I do not know when it will be answered, but I answer all of them unless we can't hear it. No one has been unkind yet. Or maybe my assistants are not telling me if somebody's a little wacky in their question, but I've only heard great kindness and appreciation. So thank you so much. So you can go to energyintuitive.com, go to the podcast page. There's instructions on how to leave a voicemail. You will be given a self-hypnosis meditation as a thank you for providing us with your beautiful questions. So I'm going to get started. And again, thank you for these questions. I adore them.
Hi, my name is Robin, and I live in Maine. A bunch of years ago, I healed a stage 4B cancer. I had been working towards that miracle, but I was still a little surprised, although I was a lot happy. Last summer, I was diagnosed with a blood disorder that apparently is a consequence of the chemo I had last time. Emotionally, I was still lonely after the whole lockdown stuff, and I had given up again on the work of my heart and soul. And apparently, my soul has a different agenda for me. Oops. So I started doing all the things that had healed me before. I feel like I'm making progress, but I'm wondering if I'm missing something. Can you tell? Do you see anything? Can you let me know? Thank you very much, and I am so enjoying all of your podcasts. Bye.
Thank you, Robin, and thank you for healing yourself. And yes, chemotherapy, the way it is in the world, although they're starting to make some changes, I think a lot of people don't need as much chemo as they give patients. Modern medicine, which is how I describe medicine today, where holistic medicine is considered traditional. That's just how I look at it, because it's been around much, much longer, and probably has the better effects of healing. Although when we have something acute, holistic medicine sometimes can take a long time. And sometimes people don't have a long time to heal something in their body. So we need to move to acute care kind of medicine. But yeah, chemotherapy has all kinds of side effects that could last years later or decades later, depending on the person. Some people don't get secondary diseases or secondary cancers from chemotherapy, but chemotherapy is a carcinogenic, meaning that it can cause cancer. When I was an oncology nurse, I worked in-house. So a lot of our patients were incredibly ill, and many of them were dealing with secondary cancers. They had already had a form of cancer before, they had gone through chemotherapy, and now they were having side effects from the chemotherapy. So what I felt like when I was listening to you, because you talked about the loneliness, I loved the pandemic. Not that I wish anyone ever any health problems whatsoever, although I love disease. So I love helping people with health issues. I love it because I think it's very beautiful. Someone wasn't really happy that I said that on a past podcast, but you really want people to help you who love what they're doing. Like, you want to go have the nurse who loves to put IVs in a body. You want her to put the IV in. You want the energy worker who loves disease to help you change and morph and help you shift your consciousness so that you can have a different experience. You don't want people who are terrified or afraid or worried about putting an IV in or worried about disease to help you, because they can't, not as well as the person who loves it. So blood dyscrasias or blood issues, those are about first chakras. And you don't, the loneliness just sounded very strong to me. And my overall thought, I don't mean to say that you don't feel lonely, but my overall thought is that you don't know exactly how you feel. Like you're in your brain, you haven't quite figured out yet how to get into your emotional response system, which is located in the second layer of the auric field. And the best way to engage in this part of the body is to actually rest in the lower half of the body. That means pull your energy out of your brain or your heart chakra. A lot of old soul types collect energy in the heart chakra, which I don't recommend. And I'm one of the few people that says that. But feel energy in your feet. It's your energy. You can put it wherever you want. Most people are just very unconscious of their subatomic particles that are racing through their body, at least hopefully moving in a powerful fashion. You can pull your energy out of your head and bring it to your abdominal area or your glutes, or and that means kind of sitting presently in the lower half of your body as well and asking, what am I really feeling right now? Real emotions change every 7 to 10 days. When humans currently, based on what they believe about emotions, think about them, they think about them changing all day long, up and down, sideways, back and forth. That's the mind. Those are not authentic emotions. So I don't think we know what you're feeling, Robin, and that will be critical for you to help with the healing, because I do think that you stay kind of locked in this loneliness. And the first chakra, which governs your blood, is about feeling safe on earth and feeling that you have a community to connect with. That community could look like orbs of light or trees or dogs, cats, other humans. It doesn't really matter. It just needs to be comfortable for you. I think you will be successful again. And if you could stay in gratitude, which is really how you really feel, honestly, that's really what you feel, is very, very grateful. But you keep listening to your mind. And then when people pay attention to their brain when it comes from mind made emotions, then they start moving their energy in alignment with these fake feelings. And it's not beneficial. So, what if I'm already healthy? What if my body is fantastic? What if my body is happy? I would refrain from using words about health or wellness, especially since you've already been down the health and wellness track. Your body may not have a positive reaction to having to revisit the language or the experiences again. So, what if my body's happy? Don't think about what it means. Do not analyze it. Do not process it, which I think is a little hard for you. Just let go. Repeat the question out loud or silently. Either way works equally well. And have fun, because you are a very, very lucky individual. Thank you for all you do in the world.
Hi, Marie. My name is Deanna, and I live on the coast of North Carolina. I'm so grateful to have found you on Alex's podcast. And I read recently in your book that you say that we are most receptive to energy between our shoulder blades. I was wondering if you could expand on that. And also recently I have discovered that I have healing abilities. I've had good success with some of my friends, and I have been doubting myself, and I was wondering if you could help me with that. And thank you so very much for all that you do and who you are, and for all that you share. Deep gratitude.
It's my absolute favorite and pleasure, Deanna, to pass on what I've learned from the multisensory world. So you're very, very welcome. The heart chakra, which is the back portion of it, is in between the shoulder blades, is the highest receptivity center in the entire physical body. So it's the back of the heart that's supposed to take in vast amounts of subatomic particles. And oddly enough, what do we say, at least in the US? Don't let people stab you in the back. You know, we're kind of protecting our upper back. And it's more about fear of people betraying us, which the heart chakra will hold on to betrayal. if someone's been betrayed in this lifetime or other lifetimes, it can be held in the heart chakra. So it's critical to learn to receive, perhaps through every pore in your body, but taking in energy from into the back of the heart chakra is beneficial. It helps breast tissue, lungs, the heart muscle, the thoracic cavity, of course, the upper spine, and the rest of the body. In fact, when we take medicine, whether it's modern or traditional, meaning holistic or made in a lab, the medication needs energy in order to work. So there's many people who haven't healed well, which might go back up to you, Robin, if you're still listening. I don't think you're good at receiving. Yeah, I don't think you are. So people who are not great at receiving have a harder time healing their body because they don't take in enough energy to make it effective. It is also one of the main causes of breast cancer are people who overgive, who do not nurture or care for themselves and are not good at receiving. It doesn't mean that if that's a way that someone operates in the world that they are going to get breast cancer, by the way. That doesn't mean that. People can move their energy in all kinds of chaotic, unhealthy ways and never get a disease. It just depends on how a person wants to learn. So before we incarnate into Earth, and I'm sure this will be helpful for the energy work that you do, Deanna, we tell the universe, God, creation, spirit guides, we actually sit down in like a powwow on this round table. This is how it's been explained to me. And my guides show me, or the universe shows me, images and understanding through kind of a human perspective, because I love the human race. I'm madly in love with humanity. And so I see this little round table and I see the person who wants to reincarnate, and they're there with the spirit guides that they've chosen, and God, creation, archangels. And perhaps they've said, hey, I'm going to go to Earth and I really want to learn personal power, let's say as an example. And usually what the person says, the soul that's going to move into a physical form, will say to the universe, and I've been working on this for centuries, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And so the universe takes our reincarnation seriously too. And when we want to learn something, they know what's going to trigger us. So for example, when I have a health issue, I think it's cool. So I usually don't get scared. I think it's fascinating. Of course, I have people that I trust who are, my clinicians. But I don't shut down my energy. I go, ooh, I wonder how I'm going to help this to heal, right? And so that means that if the universe wants me to really grow, if you will, it's not going to give me a health issue because I don't think of it as problematic. Remember, I think disease is beautiful. It's going to affect me in a different way. So whenever something has really affected us, that means that the universe thinks that we're going to stand up and look at it and take a different perception about it, consciously or unconsciously. Of course, all the people that I talk to are doing it as consciously as they possibly can. So health issues are there to help us grow and change and maneuver our awareness and our consciousness so that we may have a different belief system and react and connect with our body in different ways. Just like a divorce can be the very same thing. A bankruptcy can be the very same thing. The loss of a loved one could be the very same thing. Different people have different triggers based on their previous lifetimes. So that's why some people could have weird energy patterns in their body and never get a health issue. And please feel great about yourself for helping some of your friends. I think that's excellent. And please stay on the path of healing, because we have 8 billion human souls on Earth, many other souls as well. And we do not have very many healers. So we need many, many more. So please enjoy your craft and let it grow and let it affect yourself in a positive way and those that you touch. Okay.
Hello, Marie. It's Katya from Slovenia. I've been watching your YouTube videos on chakras and I have found them very helpful. Thank you so much. for doing and posting those. I somehow connect way deeper with my energy systems when I hear them described and visualized in such a precise way. So thank you. I was wondering, what do you see? How does my third chakra look like? I started doing the positive what if questions a couple of days ago, and probably by the time this recording reaches you, hopefully there will be a lot of healing and changes. But I still wonder, what do you see, and how, what could I do to even support it better? I just had a little question about the direction of the spinning chakras when they are receiving. I found that very interesting. So given that the root, the first chakra, is turned downwards the way that you draw it, so the receiving direction would then be, let me think, so from right leg, front body, left leg, behind body, right?
Yeah.
And the crown chakra would be receiving right shoulder behind, left shoulder front, right? And then you said that the heart chakra is receiving from the behind,
Right.
from the back. So would that mean that then on the back, the heart chakra is turning from right shoulder down and to the left shoulder? Would that be accurate? I was just
Yes.
wondering about this directions. I have found that my crown chakra was as a default turning in a counterclockwise, and I had to really be with it for 3 or 4 days, and now it's fine. That was interesting to observe. Thank you very much. I'm sending you big hugs. Thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.
Thank you, Katya. And I love that you spent time with your crown chakra and got it to move in the correct direction. That's wonderful. Sometimes chakras will spin counterclockwise when they're releasing, but all chakras spin. Every single one of them. There are 3,000 minor chakras in the body. They make up the meridian lines, the acupressure points. And then, of course, there's the 7 primary chakras. The minor chakras are about the size of a nickel. They look silver to me, so they don't have unique colors or emotions like the 7 primary, which, of course, are like the colors of the rainbow, and each, or primary colors, I believe, and each one has an emotional component. So I think all of your descriptions of the spin were correct. This is the way I describe it. And if I remember, I know I don't attach things after I say I will. I'm really, really, really busy person. So I apologize for not following through. Maybe Caitlin is listening, who's my assistant, and we can attach the PDF of how the chakras spin. But this is the way I describe it. If you were standing outside of your body and looking at the face of a chakra, so that would be the wide point, it is spinning in a clockwise direction. When it comes to the root, you'd be laying on the ground, looking up in between your legs and visualizing the spin moving in a clockwise direction. So that's the way I describe it. But I believe that your descriptions were accurate. Your solar plexus is slightly concave. So that means that there's just a little kind of sucking into the vortex. It's the right size. It is spinning a little slow, but it is spinning, and it's a little gray. And this is the reason why. And I'm so grateful you're working on loving yourself. I think you had a parent, I think it was your dad, or a male figure who was critical with you. It wasn't personal. Some people are just not totally thrilled about women in general, which I think is really hard on young women and girls. I know my daughters have experienced that with their dad, who was super loving and cuddly and very positive and very engaged with her children when they were quite young. And then as they blossomed into women, he treated them differently, because he's unconscious of this, by the way. But it's been an interesting dance for all four of them to engage that. And he clearly wants to heal that misrepresentation and belief he has about gender, because he has 3 daughters and 4 granddaughters. Yes, a lot of women in his life. So it can be cultural, it can be generational, it could be the way people are raised. Even women can be disappointed in the female race and treat women differently as well and have negative impressions about women. It's not just a masculine tendency, but maybe more so. So keep falling in love with yourself. And if I'm correct about your dad or this male figure, imagine this person cherishing you and being extremely proud of you, because that will help speed up the process of getting that vortex more lemon yellow, a higher spin, and you having more self-worth and confidence. Okay. Next person.
Hi, Marie. My name is Melissa. I am sending you this recording from Macon, Georgia. I'm originally from New York, but have lived the majority of my life in South Florida. My first question is about my marriage. I've been married for 20 years, and we are currently separated. We live in 2 separate states, but we have been trying to reconcile. But as I think, meditate, and pray on it, I still get the feeling that we should get a divorce. He definitely doesn't want one.
I know.
But I don't know why I keep getting this feeling. I don't know if you can shed any light or if there's anything that you can help me to clarify on. I thank you again. I hope you are having a good one. Stay safe. Bye.
Thank you, Melissa. So I would love it if that you're in a relationship with someone that you're excited to be with, that you adore and cherish and you feel loved and adored by. There's a reason why you two are not living together, and it's from you. Of course, he doesn't want you to in the marriage. He does adore you and cherish you to the best of his ability, but it's not enough from you from my perspective. Now, no one ever has to do anything I say, and I'm not 100% accurate. My accuracy is somewhere in the high 87 percentile. So that means I could be 13%, wrong, or maybe on a really bad day, that percentage could be higher. But I don't feel that you're in love with him. I know you love him. Your husband is a good human being, but we need more than that to stay in a relationship. I think, I want you to, again, feel adored and cherished. And I think that you've just grown apart. You are growing and changing astronomically. And I think if you move into this relationship, it slows down your growth, which if you're okay with that, fine. But if you are devoted to your growth and your consciousness, then I do think you need to reevaluate this relationship. But take all the time you want. You don't have to make this decision now. You don't have to know right away, even though he wants this and he's pushing you to reconcile and end the separation. You can take all the time you want, unless you're served with divorce papers, and like in our state, you have a year. When people get legally separated, they have a year to divorce or they have to go to trial, which I think is a really good motivator to not keep someone's marriage decree in courts for years and years. So take your time. It's okay. You're not sure or you don't know. Try to detach, which is challenging, so you can hear and see and feel what's in your highest good. Even when people hear or see or feel what's in their highest good, they still have free will and can do whatever they want. So you can stay in this marriage forever if you'd like to, or you could explore other relationships in the future if you decide to end this marital union. And whatever you choose, you will be cherished and appreciated and valued by the divine. Always. And me too. I hope that's helpful. Thank you.
Hello, Marie. My name's Yvonne. I'm from the UK. I wondered if you could maybe help give me any advice that I lost my husband a good few years ago. Still find that hard at times. Last year I lost my mum, and somehow I felt like she lifted some of that grief for me on her passing. But I just wondered if you could help, because I'm looking to move house again, and I seem to be doing that every couple of years because I can't settle. Is there any advice from the other side that, or my health or anything like that, that you could maybe give me a heads up on? Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Yvonne. I'm sorry about the losses in your life. Your mom just got so happy when she left her body, and you could feel it. And that's why some of the grief lifted. I mean, no disrespect with what I'm about to say, but I don't think all the grief that you have for your husband's passing is about his passing. I think you have grief for not really exploring yourself and creating a more divine and delicious relationship with you. Sometimes when we're in partnership or parents with their children, they put so much energy and devotion into other people, they forget to equally do that in their relationship with themselves. And that's why you can't settle, because you need, from my perception, to really dive deep into relating with yourself and self-discovery and self-actualization, individualization. And your husband who is very handsome, by the way, is standing next to you like this. I'm also on YouTube, so that's why I'm making a posture. He's got one of his fingers under his chin. He's got his hip kind of leaning up against something, but there's no wall there. And he's just like, yeah, don't make it about me. Fall in love with you. So you've been given this opportunity where you can take the time to fall in love with you, and because you don't have others to care for right now. So that's what I think. And I think once you start to explore that, your life will become vibrant and full, and you'll be wondering why you took so long when it comes to discovering you. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Kimberly Ann. So my question is about my father, Paul, who passed away over 15 years ago. And a few days before he died, my brother came in with attorneys and changed the trust, actually depleted the trust and moved all the assets out of it and opened up a new trust into his own name because they have the exact same name. So it almost looked to the family like he was making an adjustment to the trust when he was actually absolving the original trust and stealing a family dealership from everybody else in the family and kept it for himself. So my question is my father on the other side still in my auric field and energy and helping me to right the wrong? I'm having a lot of financial difficulties because I have a cervical spinal injury and I haven't worked in 3 years. And I could really use the money that my father really intended for me to have from the dealership. Please let me know. And I appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I'm so sorry about what happened, your father's passing. Here's what I think. I don't think anyone should expect to get an inheritance. And I really think that more people could give their money away while they're still alive, so that they are confident that it's getting to the right place, because there are so many deceitful people and family members who assume that all the wealth that their parents created or their grandparents or whomever is theirs. And they will lie and cheat to get their hands on it. And it takes a long time to get it unraveled through court systems. And sometimes it's not possible. So I don't think people should actually look forward to inheritances. I think that could be a great disappointment. And when I say that, I mean that people need to learn, yourself included, how to have a healthy relationship with wealth, so that no matter what happens in the world, whether you get resources or not, that you can and will attract vibrationally resources to you that help your life. Because sometimes we see this when people win the lottery. when people don't have a healthy relationship with wealth, even if they're given millions of dollars, that it somehow just disappears into thin air because they don't have the subatomic particles and the relationship to wealth that they need in order to maintain the resources. So that's what you need to fix, is that people who have crossed do not think about money. Rarely. I have been talking to Paul about it. He just kind of acts a little oblivious about it because they just don't care about it. It's not a part of their reality anymore. It's not that he doesn't want to help you, but a big part of why we have family members who cheat and lie and steal illegally resources from other family members is because many family members need to really see other family members accurately. And a lot of people are in denial and they don't believe that their family members would cheat or lie. And that's critical when it comes to becoming more conscious and aware. It's not just about running your energy in a high frequency, but it's about being conscious and clear about people who are nefarious or who are dishonorable, because that's our teacher too. Those are our teachers, so that we learn not to align to those people and that we create boundaries and rules and limitations to help them grow, but to also keep us all safe and to keep our resources safe. So if you've listened to my podcast before, then you probably have heard me talk about what it is that makes an individual really, 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 really happy. And it's different for most people. So I'm scanning your energy because you do not keep your subatomic particles elevated. This is why you've had health issues. This is why you have resource issues, because you tend to keep your vibration in what I call victim consciousness. And we don't want our subatomic particles in victim consciousness because we just create more things to feel victimized about. And they're very logical. These victim consciousness circumstances are logical, but they come from past lives. What you're trying to do is heal a past life belief that you are not worthy or deserving, and you are. So it seems like you like sparkly things, which could be light running on water or diamonds or crystals, stars. You like sparkly things. So before you engage with wealth, before you talk to a lawyer about your family member's behavior, you are going to think about sparkly things. Before you answer an email about money, you are going to think about sparkly things. Before you grab your debit card, your checkbook, a credit card, before you put your password into your online banking, please think about sparkles, because it's going to raise your vibration, and then you will have a healthy frequency with wealth, regardless of the circumstances. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Hello, Marie. My name is Leslie, and I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm calling today because I'm 68 and I have atrial fib that's been controlled by medication for close to 30 years. Mm-hmm. I'm not on blood thinners at this point.
Good.
And I'd like to know if I could get off the medication. I genuinely value the function of my kidneys. And I'd like to live independently in a more rural area that I may not be able to get to, facility to have my meds managed. And there's just a lot to it, as I'm sure you can understand. So I was wondering if you could do a quick scan and see how my kidneys are doing and talk a little bit about what's involved. There are alternative medicine people here in my area that are competent. I don't want to exchange one thing for another in that I stopped the medicine, but now I'm on $300 worth of supplements. That's not a good exchange for me. I love the work that you do, and I'm learning so much. In my previous life, I started my medical career as a nursing assistant on an oncology award. And then from there, I went in the Navy and became Navy trained as a surgical assistant, which was the pinnacle of my career. I absolutely loved it. And I love anatomy and physiology. That's a young person's job. And the last 10 years, I've recently retired from being a massage therapist. I never explored the world of energy very much. Excuse me. It seemed to attract a client that was more into faith healing, and people weren't willing to do the work that's required to make the energy healing stick. But anyway, I am learning so much from your programs, and every question I want to ask, when I click that episode, that question comes up. So I love that. If you could take a look at my kidneys or my body functions and give me a little scan, I would love that. And I enjoy all that you have to offer so much. Thank you.
You're welcome, Leslie. And thank you for everything that you do. And, during this podcast, we've been talking about receiving. And when I look at your heart chakra, you are not receiving. And you're a giver. I mean, look at everything that you've done in the world. And you've explored energy medicine. Thank you. If you ever want to work in the energy medicine field, because you clearly have a lot of training. So as you know, there's ablation that you could use, which has been very successful for AFib for many, many people, especially since you're not on anticoagulants. We know your AFib is probably mild, since your doctors don't feel that you need to be on an anticoagulant. So ablation is a definite option. Then you don't have to take any medications if it works. And it does work for most people. Some people have to have it more than once. The ablation, I know you know what it means, but for people who are listening, it's where they literally burn the lining of the heart inside. If I understand it correctly, they can also use it on the uterus. And I guess they've used it on other organs too, which I was not aware of prior. So, and then the heart muscle grows a new layer, just like the uterus will grow another layer, and then people won't have the problems that they had, like atrial fib. So ablation for AFib. And also I've had clients who've had great success with cardiac issues that cannot be resolved surgically, and their medications, let's say, aren't working as well with the near infrared and red light therapy. I like platinum therapy. You can ask your doctors about it and what they think about it. I haven't heard of anyone where their physicians, regardless of the reason why they want to use the platinum therapy, where they felt that it wasn't a good idea. Even my own doctors have said, yeah, please use that. Please use it. So that's what I think. But if you learn to receive, then you're not going to have to worry about any of this. But you could receive and do the red light therapy, and perhaps that could solve this holistically, or get ablation. Now, I've been to North Carolina a few times because I have a child that lives there. In fact, I'm leaving first thing in the morning for your lovely state. And I've been to Wellington. And to me, that is rural. That is a very rural area. But of course, I live outside a large city, Seattle. I live about, with traffic these days, it's probably 40 minutes or longer. But I think you're already living in a rural area. So I get it if you want to live someplace, even quieter. I think that's beautiful and wonderful that you already live in a rural area, in my opinion. But I think everything is going to be fine. I don't see any renal issues. It is slightly gray around both of your kidneys. That doesn't mean that they're having problems functioning or clearing out the drugs. I didn't get that impression. But one of the things the kidneys can hold on to is fear. So do your best not to vibrate your energy in fear. And I hope that you choose one of the things we talked about to help you have the AFib disappear completely and not be in your life at all. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the show, to the podcast. I'm used to the radio show. And happy 4th if you're in the US, and happy everything, no matter where you are in the world. Bye-bye.